They're unelected boards of plutocrats that
Yeah.
know a guy who know a guy who knows a guy. It may as well be a mafia.
It's literally the retirement home for politicians kind of thing, because the pay is great. Apparently, you literally
Absolutely.
get a giant mall like structure to your exclusive you and everybody else that was put in that position for the most part.
And they all get the very best health care. They all get the very best pensions. They all get the very best housing, the very best food, the very best of everything. It's like a society that operates outside of society, because they have a huge amount of influence over Europe, but they're not elected. So they don't have, nobody can unelect someone, who's at that level, it's ridiculous.
Or at least
Really
it's
is.
not easy. That's for sure. They write the rules where it's almost impossible to oust someone in those positions.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they upset their buddies that are in that put him there in the first place.
Well, let's see. Well, we've covered who we'd like to have on. We've talked. Do you have any questions for me in regards to your audience, like people that watch Bunny Boots? What should they know about Mike Bluehair?
Well, I mean, the question is why do you do cop watching? Why have you never really done anything with like First Amendment auditing or testing or anything along those lines?
Honestly, it just hasn't really occurred to me very much. Actually, one of my earlier videos, I think the first year I started out, I did I think it's a 2-video series or one just long one. It's over 40 minutes, but it's called Fun with Insecurity Guards. And I went to the it's the Bonneville Power Administration building in Portland, and that was my First Amendment audit. And the Bonneville Power Administration building is also where they have all the 911 operators in downtown Portland. And I went and filmed the outside of the building and stood on the public sidewalk. And I was approached by 2 security guards for the building and had a really long conversation. It wasn't standard stock Mike Bluehair because there wasn't a whole lot of expletives. But they did threaten to send DHS or Homeland Security. They threatened to call them, and my response was basically, "Oh, goody! I think the lighting here is really great. I'm going to stand over here. That way, I can get a better shot of them when they come." And they just really didn't know how to handle me, because he said, "Well, at first he walks up to me and he puts his hand over his ID badge on his chest right here, and he's all, 'Don't film my ID badge.' So of course I'm going to zoom in towards it, because when someone being the anti-authoritarian bastard that I am, when you tell me not to do something, that's exactly what I'm going to do it. He's all, 'Well, you can't film the outside of the building or the security cameras.' And I turned from him, and then I zoomed in on the security camera on the side of the building, and I explained to him, 'Oh, you mean this camera?' And the reason why I did that is because I had a segue coming after that. The Google car drives all the way around that building and films the sides of the building, and they film all the cameras. So if somebody was gonna, God forbid, attack that building, or if there was some kind of evil terrorist wanting to do, an attack on the Bonneville Power Administration building, they're gonna go home and sit down and relax, and they're not going to take the risk of interacting with Department of Homeland Security and these armed security guards. They're going to sit at home, and they're going to use the Google Maps and map out the entire outside of the building where the cameras are from there. And I explained that to them, and they just really didn't have much, didn't really know what to do with me. And finally they just, after they got a call back on the radio that the Homeland Security wasn't coming out, that I'm pretty sure they, at that point, I've been doing it for about a year. I've been doing police accountability activism, so I was pretty well known after the first year. I was lucky enough to get noticed pretty quickly. A lot of people end up doing this for a number of years before they get a decent size audience, and I don't know, I just got lucky on the internet and got a decent size subscriber base within the first year. But I did do a really decent First Amendment audit, but it just never occurred to me, because I guess in my mind it clicked that I did that and people have already seen it. but I should do more of them because if I looked out more for my own self interest, I'd do more of them because those videos are very popular online and people want to see them.
Yeah.
But I just get caught up in the cop watching. But I plan to do more. Especially now that you're closer to me and we're going to be working together, and I'm going to hear about yours, and that's probably going to make me do more of this First Amendment audit type things.
Yeah, as is. That's one thing that I'm pretty sure people would wonder is like, why hasn't he done this? He does cop watching, but why doesn't he do the other stuff?
Oh, do you hear that from other people in the
No,
the
but
subculture,
I can sort of see that going through other people's minds because
okay,
how should I put it? When it comes into like the police and law enforcement accountability, if it's pretty much divided into the two groups. You have those that watch the police, and you got those that actually go and seek out locations and film those locations to do civil rights tests through that method.
mm-hmm.
And it's just how should I put it? It's I could see a lot more people are going for the First Amendment test or audit method because you go out there, you film, and it's literally a flip of the coin if something's going to happen kind of thing.
Sure.
And you go and post it. Where with cop watching, you got to go and you got to actively go and look for the cops, where they're congregating at, who they're try to catch them when they're got someone pulled over or something like that.
Right. It's definitely more of a challenge to do the cop watching because, like you said, we end up running the scanner through the Bluetooth on the car stereo and going on patrols, and you're either going to find something that's newsworthy or not. But there's just because your channel doesn't have a lot of the cop watching on it, I would like to explain the method or the reason why we just film everything. Why I'll waste my time filming a traffic stop, or why I'll waste my time filming police interact with a homeless person. And it's this. I'm trying to promote a culture of people scrutinizing the police, meaning that when your average Dick and Jane are walking down the street and they see these interactions, they need to take out their cell phone and film it. And the reason why is simple. Since the technology is so ubiquitous, since we have access to the technology to watch law enforcement, we need to do it. And the reason why is because damn near every large upheaval in society, every large riot, whether it be Eric Garner or whether it be Michael Brown, all these things that caused riots and civil unrest around the country that ended up being very huge news stories, the majority of those things occurred because someone, just some average Joe, more often than not a cop watcher, just pulled out their phone and documented it. So I'm trying to promote a culture where people film it. That's why there's, a couple hundred traffic stop videos on my YouTube channel. That's why there's, people writing people tickets for riding bicycles on the sidewalk on my YouTube channel. It's because if you wait until there's a fight between a citizen and a cop before you pull your camera out and start filming. This is my little invisible camera, by the way. Before you pull out your little cell phone and start filming, you've lost the context. People on the pro law enforcement side are going to say, if you waited until the fight began to start filming, the people on the pro law enforcement side or the pro authority side are going to say, oh, well, he was resisting before the interaction. And the people that are anti-law enforcement are more inclined to not believe the police. They're going to say, of course he wasn't resisting. That cop just beat him. But if you film the entire interaction, then I can color what I film with my own anarchist perspective. I can narrate over it, but I still can't change the fact that the video is objective. I can give my interpretation verbally while I'm watching a police interaction, but I still can't magically make something happen that didn't happen. And it's that kind of objective scrutiny that needs to be done. I think the technology is there, and us as a society, we need to go ahead and use it for the better. And if it did become more popular to where your average person did film every police interaction that they saw, I would go film animals or do something else with my creative aspirations.
or film the squirrel that you have in the background there.
Oh yeah. I'd film Lucky. Can you see him wandering
Yeah,
around back there?
I saw him roaming around earlier. It looks like he's probably taking a nap right now. So
Yeah. Lucky's taking a nap. Yeah, yes, I do have a squirrel. A friend of mine's dog found him. He was too little to take care of himself when he was a wee lad, and I had to bottle feed him. I'm choking on my own spit. I'm gonna have to drink some water.
okay.